What unfolds when a CEO places an order at his own establishment and uncovers a revelation that transforms everything Ethan Cole has dedicated years to creating with his restaurant chain? Beginning with a humble diner, his enterprise expanded to encompass 12 locations throughout the state. However, as the organization grew, Ethan became overwhelmed with board meetings, spreadsheets, and marketing initiatives. It had been more than a year since he last visited one of his establishments. Recently, concerning indicators have emerged regarding dissatisfaction with service, high employee turnover, and even whispers of a detrimental workplace atmosphere. Ethan's executives reassured him that they were managing the situation, yet the persistent sense that something was amiss lingered in his mind. He resolved to discover the truth on his own. Concealed behind glasses, a beard, and a tattered hoodie, Ethan appeared to be a far cry from the refined CEO. He selected a spot he had yet to explore, a moderately sized eatery nestled in a suburban area. This specific location had been marked for its notably high employee turnover, and he sought explanations. He entered like any other patron on a chilly Wednesday evening. The eatery had a gentle buzz, with soft exchanges of dialogue weaving through the atmosphere. Ethan lingered in a secluded booth, blending into the background. He surveyed the space. The decor was tidy, yet lacked inspiration. It felt devoid of warmth and character. The team appeared to be in a hurry. A server clattered silverware onto a nearby table, murmuring an apology, her expression taut with tension. A young server approached his table, a strained smile fixed on his face. The name tag read Ryan. "Hello?" "Welcome," Ryan said, his voice courteous yet weary. "Would you like me to pour you a drink to begin with?" Ethan gave a slight nod. "Only water for the moment, thank you." Ryan nodded and hurriedly walked away. Ethan observed Ryan's anxious glances toward a serious-looking man positioned by the kitchen doors of the manager. With his arms crossed and a keen gaze, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the interaction than met the eye. As Ryan came back with the water, Ethan casually placed his order for a burger and fries. "Quite the bustling evening, isn't it?" Ryan paused, casting a wary look behind him. "Indeed, it has been," he spoke gently, mentioning a great deal recently before hastily taking his leave. As Ethan sat there, anticipation building for his meal, he observed Ryan grappling with the pace, clearly having a hard time keeping up. The young man darted from table to table, scribbling down orders, offering apologies for any delays and tidying up spills with swift efficiency. However, the manager never intervened to provide assistance. Instead, he issued commands to Ryan and the other staff, his tone cutting and patronizing. The atmosphere in the room was thick with tension, yet what captivated Ethan the most was the way Ryan carried himself. In the face of pressure, he maintained his courteous demeanor with customers, even sharing a light-hearted joke with a family seated at another table. Yet, there was an undeniable weariness in his eyes, perhaps even a hint of sorrow that Ethan found impossible to ignore. As Ryan placed the food on Ethan's table, the CEO chose to probe further. "You've got quite a bit to handle tonight," Ethan remarked, maintaining a cheerful tone. "Is this the level of effort you consistently put in?" Ryan let out a cautious chuckle. "Essentially, that's the way things are." Ethan inclined his body ever so slightly. "May I inquire how long you've been here?" Ryan paused, casting another look at the manager before he spoke in a softer tone. "Approximately half a year, yet it seems to stretch on endlessly." Ethan sensed that the narrative held deeper layers yet to be uncovered. "What keeps you here?" Ryan paused once more, releasing a measured exhale. He confessed that he was left with no options. "My mother's medical expenses are accumulating rapidly. Last year, she experienced a stroke, and I am her sole support. I'm working to gather funds for her therapy and medication." Ethan stood still, his burger remaining untouched before him. The impact of Ryan's words struck him with the force of a gut punch. Ryan managed another smile, though it was evident he was uneasy about the extent of his revelations. "Regardless, I ought to attend to my other tables. If you require any further assistance, just let me know." As Ryan strolled off, Ethan sank into his chair. His hunger vanished. He had arrived to look into grievances regarding service, Yet what he uncovered was something much more intimate and sorrowful. Ethan found himself endlessly pondering the tale spun by Ryan. The young man struggled to maintain his composure, toiling tirelessly for his family, while it felt as though no one acknowledged or appreciated his efforts. Ethan felt a constriction in his chest. This was not the atmosphere he had envisioned for his establishments. The moment had arrived to explore the depths of the fissures. Ethan chose to linger, to watch closely, and to discern precisely where the missteps had occurred. Ethan lingered for more than an hour, silently taking in the rhythm of the restaurant's bustling atmosphere. He observed Ryan weaving through the tables, the manager scolding him for trivial mistakes without providing any support. Several other employees appeared just as overwhelmed, their actions hurried and expressions fatigued. It wasn't solely Ryan, it encompassed the whole atmosphere. A profound sense of unease permeated the atmosphere. In a moment of distraction, Ryan inadvertently tipped over a glass of water as he was tidying up the table. The manager marched over, his voice booming and impossible to ignore. "Ryan, how many times must I remind you to focus? Please tidy this up." Apologies slipped from Ryan's lips, his voice a mere whisper as he bent down to retrieve a towel. Ethan's fists tightened beneath the table, signaling the moment of no return. He could no longer remain seated. Once Ryan completed his cleaning, Ethan rose and made his way to him by the drink station. "Hey Ryan," he remarked nonchalantly, "I hope you don't mind me asking, but is it usually like this around here? It appears that you are facing quite a bit of stress." Ryan paused, his gaze flickering to the manager on the other side of the room. "I really shouldn't say anything," he muttered, his hands nervously fidgeting with a stack of napkins. "I understand," Ethan said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "However, I have a background in the restaurant industry from my younger days. I understand the challenges you face. You appear to be a decent person, and it's disheartening to witness someone putting in so much effort without any assistance." Ryan's shoulders drooped a bit, as though Ethan's words had granted him the freedom to release some of the burden he carried. He surveyed his surroundings one last time before leaning in closer. "It's not solely my burden," he confessed softly. "The majority of the team is quite frustrated. The manager, Greg, he is. Clearly his behavior speaks for itself. He offers no assistance, only shouts at us. Individuals leave frequently due to his influence. I find myself in this situation solely due to financial constraints." Ethan nodded, his jaw set in a firm line. "I appreciate you sharing that with me. I assure you I won't mention a word to him." Ryan offered a faint, tired smile before making his way back to his tables. Ethan, on the other hand, had reached his limit. After settling his bill, he left a generous tip for Ryan and made his way outside. He took out his phone and dialed Karen, the operations manager. She was a person he relied on, a constant presence since the inception of the company. "Karen, I need you to meet me at the town name location tomorrow morning," Ethan said, his voice steady. "Is everything okay?" she inquired, picking up on the strain in his voice. "No," Ethan replied, "it certainly isn't. I must implement some adjustments right away." The following morning, Ethan made his way to the restaurant ahead of schedule, this time unmasked. Karen was already present, her expression filled with worry. "What's happening, Ethan?" she inquired. As he drew near, he detailed all that he had witnessed and overheard the previous night, from the manager's demeanor to Ryan's poignant predicament. Karen absorbed every word, her head nodding in agreement as he shared his thoughts. "This isn't merely a bad night," Ethan remarked, his voice tinged with exasperation. "This issue is deeply rooted in the system. If it's occurring here, it might also be taking place at other sites as well. It requires our attention to be resolved." Karen nodded in agreement, and side by side they strolled into the restaurant. As the morning shift began to unfold, Greg, the manager, was already present, enjoying a cup of coffee behind the counter. His expression shifted to one of astonishment upon seeing Ethan Cole. "What brings you here?" Greg inquired, his voice wavering between intrigue and discomfort. Ethan was quick to act. "We must have a conversation," he stated with conviction. Greg's expression changed to one of slight annoyance. "What is the topic?" Ethan gestured for Greg to accompany him to the rear of the office. The exchange was short, yet charged with emotion. Ethan took a stand against Greg regarding his treatment. Of the staff, the alarming turnover rates and the detrimental atmosphere at work. Greg attempted to shift the blame, accusing the employees of lacking drive and ambition. Greg mentioned that they are unwilling to put in the effort. With a nonchalant gesture, "What should I do now?" grasped their hands tightly. Ethan's gaze sharpened. It is essential to guide them, provide support, and foster an atmosphere that enables their success. Your responsibility as a manager is to ensure that. And from what I've observed, you're not quite succeeding at it, Greg scoffed. You have no idea what it takes to manage this place on a daily basis. It's simple to remain behind a desk and pass judgment. Ethan leaned in, his voice unwavering and icy. Indeed, you are correct. I don't observe it on a daily basis. I arrived here incognito last night for that very reason. What I witnessed was utterly intolerable. This does not align with the values I established for my company, and I will not permit it to persist. Your time here has come to an end, Greg, in effect right away. Greg's face flushed with fury, yet he understood it was wiser to refrain from any further debate. He snatched his belongings and marched out in silence, leaving no room for further conversation. Ethan inhaled deeply before making his way back to the front of the restaurant. He gathered the team, introducing himself and outlining his purpose for being there. He started with an apology to everyone. I've been so absorbed in expanding this business that I overlooked what was unfolding around me. Last night, I witnessed events that should never have unfolded. That comes to a close today. He directly acknowledged Ryan, expressing gratitude for his dedication and perseverance. Ryan, your dedication to this restaurant has truly been exceptional, and I want to ensure that your efforts are acknowledged and backed. Beginning today, I will take care of your mother's medical expenses. It's essential that no one faces such a heavy load by themselves. Ryan's eyes grew large and he stumbled over his words. I find myself at a loss for words. Thank you, Ethan said with a smile. You truly deserve it. As for the rest, I am putting immediate measures in place to create a more positive atmosphere for everyone here. A new manager will be joining us tomorrow, bringing a leadership style rooted in respect and compassion. The atmosphere hummed with a sense of relief and a tentative hopefulness. After a significant period, the team finally experienced a sense of recognition and appreciation. As Ethan exited the restaurant that day, he understood that his task was far from complete. Numerous destinations awaited exploration, and countless adjustments were yet to be implemented. For the first time in months, he sensed a genuine return to leadership within his company. The following days swept Ethan into a flurry of activity. Following Greg's removal as manager, he collaborated with Karen to execute prompt changes at the restaurant, all the while gearing up for more extensive reforms throughout the company. However, he had to ensure that this particular site was secured. First, Karen had begun the process of interviewing candidates for a new manager, yet Ethan chose to return to the restaurant to assess the staff's performance. This time, he showed up amidst the bustling lunch crowd, curious to observe how they were coping in Greg's absence. The contrast was evident the moment he entered. The atmosphere felt more relaxed, and the employees, though still occupied, appeared less stressed. Ryan was back on the floor, navigating swiftly while wearing a brighter smile. Ethan locked eyes with Ryan, who acknowledged him with a nod before moving on to another table. Ethan spotted Karen by the counter, going over a checklist with one of the assistant managers. "How are things going?" he inquired, his voice barely above a whisper to keep from attracting notice. Karen beamed with delight. "Improved, but we still have some distance to cover. The team is still adapting to the transition, and we've had to rearrange shifts to accommodate Greg's absence. Ryan has been a steadfast presence indeed. That child is the lifeblood of this establishment." Ethan nodded, his eyes tracking Ryan, as he carried plates to a table of 4. "He merits more than merely a pat on the back," he remarked. "We should definitely ensure he has some time off soon. He truly deserves it." Karen jotted down a note on her clipboard. "I will take care of it." Ethan dedicated the following hour to silent observation, meticulously noting in his mind the elements that succeeded and those that fell short. The kitchen team appeared to work more harmoniously in the absence of Greg's meddling, yet they remained short-handed. The assistant manager, though capable, appeared to be struggling under the weight of managing both the front and back of house operations. Just as Ethan was preparing to exit, he caught sight of a customer at the register engaged in a heated exchange with one of the cashiers. The tall man, brimming with impatience, was gesturing with fervor. "I've been waiting for 15 minutes, and now I'm being informed that you don't have what I ordered. This situation is absurd." The cashier, a young woman who seemed no older than 18, appeared to be on the brink of tears. "I sincerely apologize, sir. We experienced a bigger lunch crowd than anticipated, and we ran out of." "I have no interest in your excuses," the man snapped, his voice escalating. Just as Ethan was about to make his move, Ryan emerged at the counter. With a composed demeanor, he stepped in front of the man, addressing him directly. "Sir, I can assist you," he offered. "I recognize your frustration, and I sincerely regret the hold-up. Allow me to cover your meal and find something else we can whip up for you in no time." The man shot a fierce look at Ryan, yet there was a subtle softening in his demeanor. "All right. Please expedite your actions." With a swift nod, Ryan addressed the problem, directing the man to a table to await further assistance. He then faced the cashier, offering her a comforting smile. "You're excelling wonderfully. Stay strong and don't let him affect you, all right?" The cashier nodded, dabbing at her eyes. "Thank you, Ryan." Ethan observed the scene unfold, a blend of pride and frustration simmering within him. Ryan's skill in calming the situation was remarkable, yet it seemed unjust that he bore such a heavy burden without adequate backing. Later that afternoon, Ethan summoned Ryan into the cozy office tucked away at the back of the restaurant. Ryan entered with a palpable tension, his hands restless at his sides. "You wanted to see me?" Ryan inquired. Ethan motioned toward a chair. "Please take a seat." As soon as Ryan took his seat, Ethan leaned in, propping his elbows on the desk. "I have been observing you, Ryan. Not only today, but throughout the past few days, you have been performing exceptionally well despite facing some challenging situations." Ryan shrugged, his gaze drifting to his hands. "I'm simply putting forth my best effort." Ethan stated with conviction. "You're doing more than that. You are rising to challenges in ways that many would shy away from. I wish to recognize that." Ryan looked up, his face revealing a blend of astonishment and doubt. "Could you clarify what you mean?" Ethan beamed with joy. "To begin with, I would like you to take the next 2 days off with pay. There are no disputes. You've been toiling away without pause, and it's time for a well-deserved respite." Ryan began to voice his objections, but Ethan raised a hand to silence him. "I mean it, Ryan. It's impossible to support your mom or yourself if you reach a point of exhaustion." After a brief pause, Ryan gave a nod of understanding. "Thank you very much." Additionally, Ethan remarked, "As soon as we have a new manager on board, I would like to elevate you to a leadership position. Perhaps beginning as a shift supervisor would be a good option. Both Karen and I can see that you possess the qualities necessary for leadership." Ryan's eyes grew large with surprise. "Is that so? I'm uncertain if I'm prepared for that." Ethan expressed his belief, saying, "I think you are. We will ensure you receive the training and support essential for your success. This transcends mere recognition. It's a commitment. You've got great promise, Ryan, and I'm here to support your development." For a brief instant, Ryan found himself at a loss for words. Then he smiled, a true open smile that brightened his entire face. "Thanks a lot. That holds significant value." Ethan rose to his feet and reached out his hand. "You truly deserve this." Ryan extended his hand, his grip resolute. "I will not disappoint you, I know you won't," Ethan said. As Ryan departed the office, Ethan experienced a revitalized sense of determination. This was the very reason he had established the company. Initially, to forge pathways for individuals like Ryan, yet tasks remained to be completed. Ethan redirected his focus to his phone, initiating calls with a resolute intent to guarantee that each location in his chain maintained the same standards of respect and support he was now implementing here. This is merely the start. Ethan's phone vibrated in his pocket as he stepped out of the restaurant that afternoon. It was Karen. She mentioned that the interviews for the new manager have been finalized. "I believe there's a candidate worth meeting in person. She brings a wealth of experience, boasts impressive references, and her approach to leadership resonates with the transformations you aim to implement. Ethan responded, "Please send me her details. I would like to meet her tomorrow." The following morning, Ethan found himself in a serene nook of a nearby coffee shop, patiently awaiting the arrival of the candidate. Karen had organized the meeting, and Ethan was keen to confirm that this individual would be the perfect match. The door chimed softly as a woman in her mid-40s entered, her gaze sweeping across the room before she made her way toward him. "Hello, Mr. Cole, I'm Dana," she stated, offering her hand with a blend of assurance and warmth in her smile. Ethan extended his hand for a shake and motioned for her to take a seat. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Dana. I appreciate you making it here on such short notice." Their dialogue unfolded effortlessly. Dana brought 10 years of experience in restaurant management, with a notable emphasis on the well-being of her employees. "A joyful team leads to satisfied customers," she remarked. "When your team feels appreciated, they will naturally put in the extra effort without needing any prompts." Ethan gave a slight nod. "That's precisely what I seek. The group at this site has faced numerous challenges. They require an individual capable of restoring trust and nurturing a constructive environment." Dana inclined her body ever so slightly. "I have encountered circumstances similar to this in the past. Patience is key, and with the proper strategy, transformation is within reach. I would begin by having individual meetings with each team member, understanding their obstacles and what drives them." Ethan grinned. "You're hired," Dana thought in disbelief, "just like that." "You're precisely what this place requires," he remarked. "Karen will take care of the paperwork, but I need you to begin at your earliest convenience. Thank you very much." "I won't let you down," Dana assured. 2 days later, Dana entered the restaurant. Ready to embark on her first shift, Ethan stood ready to present her to the team, the staff assembled in the dining area, their faces reflecting a blend of intrigue and measured hopefulness. Ryan lingered at the rear. With his arms crossed, a subtle smile played at the corner of his mouth. "This is Dana, your new manager," Ethan announced. With years of experience under her belt, her foremost goal is to create an environment where both employees and customers can flourish. Dana advanced, her voice a blend of warmth and authority. "I appreciate your perseverance during these challenging weeks. I aim to create an environment where you feel valued and supported, but I will need your collaboration to achieve that. My door remains open, and I genuinely want to hear from each of you regarding what's effective and what isn't." The team shared looks, some affirming with nods, while others remained cautious, yet an undeniable change permeated the atmosphere. Following the meeting, Dana sprang into action without delay. She began observing the staff, grasping the process, and stepping in to assist during peak times. She took a moment to pull Ryan aside, expressing her gratitude for his support during the transition. "Karen mentioned that you've been a pillar for this team," Dana said. With a shy smile, Ryan expressed his anticipation for witnessing your capabilities in a leadership role. "Thank you. I'm gradually adjusting to the concept, but I'll put forth my utmost effort." In the weeks that followed, the restaurant started to undergo a remarkable transformation. Dana introduced fresh policies aimed at enhancing communication and promoting equitable scheduling. She collaborated with Ethan to bring on more staff, lightening the burden on the current team. The atmosphere brightened, evident in the exchanges between staff and patrons. Ethan ensured he frequented the restaurant consistently, but this occasion was different. He was there as his true self. He wished to remain engaged to witness the transformations directly. On one occasion, he observed Ryan guiding a new employee, his demeanor calm and supportive. "How are you doing?" Ethan inquired about when Ryan might have a moment to spare. "Excellent," Ryan remarked with a smile. "Experiencing this new perspective is refreshing, and I find it enjoyable." The newcomer is picking things up quickly. Ethan gave him a friendly pat on the shoulder. "You're doing wonderfully. Ryan, maintain the momentum." As the weeks morphed into months, the consequences of the changes began to surface. There was a notable enhancement in sales, a reduction in employee turnover, and an increase in customer satisfaction scores. Ethan wasn't merely listening to the updates in the weekly reports, he was witnessing them firsthand with each visit. 1. Afternoon, Ethan convened a meeting for the entire company via video chat. Every one of the 12 locations was engaged, with employees eager to hear the CEO's message. In recent months, I've dedicated time to exploring our restaurants, observing what is effective and what falls short, Ethan began. What I've come to understand is that our most significant asset isn't our offerings or our image, but rather our team. It is my responsibility to ensure that each of you receives the support necessary for your success. He proceeded to unveil a series of new initiatives across the company, encompassing leadership training programs, mental health resources, and a dedication to fostering internal promotions whenever feasible. Ethan expressed a desire for every location to embody an atmosphere that attracts both employees and customers alike. It all begins with each and every one of you. The meeting concluded with a round of applause, leaving Ethan with a profound sense of fulfillment that had eluded him for years. Returning to the town name location, Ryan made his way over to Dana. Following the busy lunch hour, "Did you catch the announcement?" he inquired, his enthusiasm almost overflowing. "I did," Dana said, her smile brightening the room. "It's quite significant. Take pride in your accomplishments, Ryan. Your contribution was essential to this outcome." Ryan gave a slight shake of his head. "I simply took the necessary steps." "And that's precisely why you will achieve great things," Dana responded. Ethan made one final visit to the restaurant before returning to his corporate duties. He discovered Ryan at the beverage station, replenishing cups. "Hey, Ryan," Ethan mentioned. Ryan pivoted, a smile gracing his lips. "Hello, Mr. Cole. What brings you here today?" "I just wanted to express my gratitude," Ethan said. "This place owes its existence to you," Ryan said with a slight shrug, feeling a touch of embarrassment. "I was simply fulfilling my responsibilities." Ethan remarked that you were contributing in ways beyond that, and I trust you realize it hasn't escaped attention. As Ethan exited the restaurant that day, a profound sense of pride washed over him, not only for the company he had created, but also for the individuals who contributed to its essence. At times, it required a moment of reflection to recognize the flaws and grasp the means to mend them. With renewed resolve, Ethan was committed to ensuring those cracks remained sealed for eternity.